You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stevencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Yesterday's show was a lot of fun. I do hope that you tuned into that. We answered so many questions on when to shower after a sauna, when to shower after getting a tan, when to shower after yoga. We talked about oil in the diet. Is it all bad, or are there a couple good forms? We chatted about what happens when you get no sleep the night before. What do you do for more energy the next day? We talked about some more rare genetic-based tissue connective disorders. We talked about obsessive compulsive disorder, neurotransmitter testing, hypochondria. We talked about apple cider vinegar in water, what to do if it doesn't work with your gums and your palate. So that was a lot of fun. That was episode 1492 yesterday. I do hope that you checked that out. If you want to follow along with today's questions, simply head on over to stevencabral.com/1493. All right, so on these weekend host calls, if you're new to the show, we answer our community's questions from people all over the world each and every Saturday and Sunday. You might listen to them whenever you choose works for you, but that is when they debut. So our wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, talk about mindset, we talk about mental health, we talk about coaching, we talk about health coaching, I should say, integrative health practitioners, like everything and anything. It's all fair game. Don't have the answer for you. I will tell you that. I will say, okay, here's your best solution. Here's where to look. But what I hope to do is give people the best place to get started. That place that you might be missing, that second opinion that you need in order to find out what that underlying root cause may be. So thank you so much for tuning into the show, and really do love answering these questions. What I'm going to do right now is dive right into these questions. All right. So we left off with Lisa. So Lisa is up first, and I'm just going to put in my notes to make sure I know, or my team knows where we left off. All right, so 1492 was yesterday, and today is episode 1493 for those of you following along with the questions online. All right, Lisa's up saying, hi, I have some questions in regards to, I'm taking the Candida Control 1 with, in it has biotin, but it also want to make sure that it does not affect my thyroid negatively because I have hypothyroid. I'm trying to fix that with glandular, desiccated thyroid, and I don't want it to affect my thyroid negatively. I was wondering if you've heard the claims that biotin interferes with thyroid. All right, Lisa, happy to answer this question for you. Thank you for writing in. And I just want everyone to know as well, since we are about 8 weeks behind, you are always welcome to get almost same-day answers at cabralsupportgroup.com from my health coaching team, all trained by myself, and that is a free Facebook group, so please do feel free to check it out. All right, so let's answer this question for Lisa. So at very high dosages, biotin can affect the lab results when testing for, well, it can affect TSH, it can affect T3, T4 for sure. So here's what I want to chat about. We're typically talking 10,000 milligrams of biotin, okay? So that's what we're talking about in terms of the dosage needed. Now, well, let me state that a different way. So usually it is a high dosage of biotin. The minimum that I've seen in the research is 5,000, typically closer to 10 to 20 milligrams. So, it's a lot. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get that with a glucose-based support product, but 1,000 milligrams a day or so, 2,000, typically shouldn't interfere. But here's what you can do. If you started taking it and then all of a sudden it threw off your thyroid levels on your lab test, well, you could remove that. Or if you still feel the same exact way, meaning like symptomatology-wise, it may just be throwing off those symptoms. Now, as part of the CBO protocol, you're most likely on that product for only 1 month. And so, again, it's not a high dosage. And there's so much benefit to biotin, by the way, like so much benefit for the hair, the skin, the nails. It helps with so many different things. You can check out obviously the research on that. I'll let it be your choice and take it from there, okay? Because I can't give you medical advice on exactly what to do. But thank you for writing in. Cassandra's up next. Hello there. I just had a question regarding numbness in my hands. I often, almost every night, wake up from being completely numb and have to shake them back out to get the blood flowing. Just wondering if you could take a certain test or who to go to see about this. Could it possibly be a deficiency or a blood flow problem? Not sure what to do and need some guidance. Thank you for taking the time to review my concern. Hope to hear from you soon. Sincerely, Cassandra. All right, Cassandra, let's head on over to StephenCabral.com/podcasts. Scroll down to that search box and let's type in numbness. All right, we're going to go over the episodes with numbness in the hands and feet. We have episode 470, 589, 595, 765, 828, 947, 960, and 1016. It is all about numbness in the hands and the feet and the legs. I'm going to give you the short of it, and then you can go back and you can refer to those previous shows. So it could be a sleeping position as well. So for example, let's say you're sleeping with your hands bent. I mean, this is legitimate, like with your hand bent, your wrist bent, I should say, at a 90-degree angle. Okay, that can cause some issues with the blood flow to the hand. So just what I like people to do is sleep on their side, typically pillow between the knees, one pillow under their head, more of the fetal-based position, and the bottom arm tucked kind of under them with the hand flat. Okay, simple position to sleep in, very ergonomically correct for the body. Now, what else you want to look for is that there's no what's called impingement in the cervical vertebrae, which would mean the vertebrae in your spine around your neck and shoulder area. Do you have a lot of tension there? Do you stare at a computer screen for a lot of the day? If so, you might actually want to see a very good chiropractor or muscular therapist or functional range conditioning specialist, a good personal trainer that specializes in postural alignment, someone that could take a look at that. Of course, there's no harm in actually asking your PCP as well. Like, listen, I've got this numbness in my hand. Like, yes, no problem with that. Go check it out. It can be B vitamin deficiency. It can be higher levels of blood sugar. It could be higher levels of heavy metals, even higher levels of copper. So that is what I would look at. And of course, the starter kit is a great place to start in terms of labs because that will look at a bunch of different things. You can certainly look at the heavy metal toxicity test. And that is a good place, I think, to get started. Tyler's up next. Hi, Dr. Ball. I've been having some muscle spasms in my chest and triceps for several weeks now. I went to the doctor, and all he did was prescribe anti-inflammatory medicine that didn't solve the issue. The severity of the spasms tend to fluctuate, but I can't find the root cause. I eat a plant-based diet, very little gluten, but I do consume some dairy, meat, fish, and eggs. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, Tyler. Tyler, good news is this. You wrote in on 129 or so. I'm coming up with a show. I pre-planned my month of March. I never do this. Just a little inside information. I never plan more than 2 weeks in ahead for my podcast. It's kind of funny, but I just love it to be kind of like, hey, what did someone ask in the private practice today? What's fresh? Like, what's going on? And I love doing it that way, but I'm traveling for the month of March. I always travel for the month of March with my 2 young daughters who are getting older right in front of my eyes, and my wife. That's because my 2 girls get 2 weeks of school vacation. It's just how they do it here in Boston. And so it allows us to take a longer trip. And it just so happens that the week before their school vacation, I am doing did do a seminar in Sydney, Australia. Yes, that's where it was. So you'll have to, well, not excuse me. I did the show ahead of time that you're going to want to listen to, Tyler. So that's going to come up on episode 1509. It's scheduled 1509. And today being 1493. I know it's like 2.5 weeks in advance. Never do that. And that's the 9 physical signs of vitamin deficiency. So definitely stay tuned for that one. But I'm going to answer your question, just a little head start. So here's the thing. Muscle spasms are typically not inflammatory based. That can be like muscle aches and can be fatigue, and it can be from all sorts of issues, water retention. But muscle spasms is usually calcium magnesium. It really is, like leg cramps, eye twitches, muscle spasms, calcium, magnesium. What would I do? Well, here's what I would do. I would probably start with 1 capsule of full spectrum magnesium at lunch, 2 capsules of full spectrum magnesium at dinner, and you might want to add the deep sleep protocol in at night. Do that just for a week. Does that get rid of the muscle spasms? Well, if that was the case, then you're a little bit magnesium deficient, and you're in good company since most of the world is functionally deficient in magnesium. So you can absolutely keep that magnesium going. Maybe you just do 2 at dinner, totally up to you, whatever you need. And then if you run a minerals and metals test, we might switch you over to the CalMag Complete, which is why lab testing is so important. So that's it, Tyler. Hopefully that helps. Again, I can't give you medical advice, but if it were me, my brother, texts me with the same exact question, that's what I would tell him to do. So I can't give you medical advice. I can't tell you what treatments are or cures are or disease are, but I can tell you that's what I would do for my own family. So hopefully you can take that for what it's worth, what you feel is the best decision for you and your body. Dar is up next. Wonder what the best thing to snack on late at night is if you're super hungry. If you could give multiple options, that would be great. Sometimes I have an early dinner, then I need something to eat. Yours truly, this Vata ectomorph. Okay, so here's the biggest thing. I don't like people eating within 3 hours of bed. Now, that's because I want all the food to be out of the stomach. And if you have a decent-sized meal at dinner, especially if it has a bigger protein in it, it can take 3 hours. Or if you eat a lot of raw vegetables, it can take 3 hours. So here's why I don't want that is because I want you in a deeper level of sleep. And remember, the more hours before midnight, the more deep sleep we're typically going to get. And you can't do that if your body's shifting energy towards digestion. So as I always say, and again, I did a podcast on why 3 meals per day. Please check that out. You can just go to stevencabral.com/podcast and type in 3 meals. And you should find the podcast on that. Okay. But yes, I know that many Vata and ectomorphs start to get lower blood sugar sometimes 3 hours after eating. So what do? Well, here's what we want to do. We want to eat more protein and more fiber at dinner. Now, Vatas are going to need some good starches and carbs in there as well. So just make sure you're getting enough food at dinner. I mean, really, really important, okay? So chew your food well, get a nice purple potato in there, get a nice sweet potato in there, get some yam. Actually, Japanese yams are one of my absolute favorite. Get a little good olive oil or avocado. Get some wild salmon or some sardines. Or if you are vegan, let's get some black beans in there, some hummus, some chickpeas, some lentils. Any of those are great. And let's make sure that your HPA axis is balanced. So again, running that stress, mood, and metabolism test will allow us to see if you get higher cortisol at night, and that's why you want a little something in order to calm the mind, calm the body. You might want to take some, again, full spectrum magnesium with dinner. I can't tell you how many Vatas need to calm that anxious mind as well with magnesium. They also sometimes need CalMag, and again, the minerals and metals test will show you that. So okay, but if you do need something, what do? Okay, we need to eat something that's easier to digest. We can't have it be too much in the belly. So what we want to do is we could have some, let's just say, some cut up veggies, not raw broccoli, but some cut up veggies, let's say celery, which is a nice water dominant one, some cucumber, and we can dip that in some white bean dip, some black bean dip, or some hummus. So basically we have a bean dip that's going to be high in fiber, but it still has carbs and it still has protein. So it's going to satiate kind of all the tastes. What we can do with that is we can dip the veggies in it, like the cucumber. That will allow you to not get a ton of calories, but get good fiber, get good protein, so it slows that digestion as well, and hopefully that helps. So that is what I'd recommend. I don't want to go heavy on nuts before bed. I don't want to start eating like turkey roll-ups, and I don't want to start eating anything heavy for the body. That's not going to be great for your overall digestion. So Dar, hopefully that helped. Catherine's up next. Hello, my name is Catherine. I'm 35. I'm a third grade teacher and a mom of 3 school-age kiddos. I have been struggling with extreme fatigue on a regular basis since August. Through a blood work test, I was told I have hypothyroidism in May and started taking meds in January. Even though I'm taking the meds, I still experience fatigue on a daily basis. I met with my doctor and it doesn't seem to help. A few other symptoms I have are rib pain, sore throat, dizziness, and occasional increased heart rate. Additionally, I was diagnosed with asthma when I was in college. So about 15 years ago, for that I only use a rescue inhaler. I don't take any medicine on a daily basis. I'm reaching out to see if there's anything I can change from my end, how to get to the root cause of these struggles, because it is affecting me to do my job and my family life. So, Catherine, without a doubt, we can help with this. I mean, now again, I can't treat, I can't diagnose, I can't cure disease. Yes, those are 3 things that I'm not allowed to say. So here's what you can do though. Like, this is the truth. Head to stevencabral.com/podcast. There's going to be all sorts of fun looking graphics at the top. And there's going to be one that says Thyroid Healing Solutions. And if you click on that graphic, they're just free shows. And let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 shows. And there's another one coming up, just to let you know. And let's see where it is. It is going to be, let's see. Well, I think we actually already did. So 19 shows on the thyroid. And after you've listened to those 19 shows, you will honestly know what to do. Well, at the same time, I really want you to read my book, The Rain Barrel Effect. Okay? The Rain Barrel Effect teaches you how you got here and how you can begin to heal. And for you, I absolutely believe that you can. Like, no doubt in my mind, I believe that you can. Okay? And I want you to prove me right, not wrong. All right? I want you to prove me right by healing yourself and not prove the medical doctors correct. So read The Rain Barrel Effect. 100% of all profit goes to charity. So you can read the book, you can give to charity, I give the charity for you, and that's that. Like, and it's a very inexpensive book too. So you can find that on Amazon. Everyone who has read the book, I appreciate you. If you reviewed the book, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. So, because the thing is, I can't answer this in 5 minutes over a Cabral HouseCall, but I have answered it on the 19 shows on literally how to fix your thyroid, how the adrenal affects the thyroid. Talked about that on episode 382. On 369, I talked about how the adrenals slow the thyroid. So that's why you just can't look at one factor, which is TSH. Like, you can't. And I want to help you. So that's how I can help you is by giving you more knowledge, more information. All right, Desiree is up next. Hello, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all you do. I'm deeply grateful to you. Finding your podcast a few years ago was the catalyst that allowed me to completely change my life for the better. What affects vitamin D absorption? I've been taking EN vitamin D for 2.5 years at 4,000 IUs per day. I weigh 130 pounds. About 6 months ago, I took my thyroid adrenal hormone lab and the level was 33. I was advised to take 6,000 IUs per day, which I have been doing since. Just recently, I had blood work done and my levels were at 25. I'm curious why my levels dropped even though I increased the dosage. My doctor recommended I take 10,000 IUs for 3 months and then retest. I'm overall very healthy. I do the quarterly detox. I've completed 5 now. I did the CBO and the Heal and Seal. Take the DNS, daily fruit and vegetable blend, omega-3, vitamin D, probiotic, and full spectrum vitamin C daily. I follow the weight maintenance plan from IHP. I live in sunny Arizona, but don't get very much sun exposure. I only get 6 hours of sleep a night, so supplement with melatonin most nights. 1 dropper of the brand you recommend. Thank you so much for your insight. Yes, Desiree, this is a great question. No need to go up in vitamin D, okay? You weigh 130 pounds. No need to go to the 10,000 IU, in my opinion. So we need to get you between 50 and 70. This sometimes happens. Remember, there is a person that breaks every rule in the book. And Desiree, you're that person, right? I was that person for most of my life for sure. So what we need is not to work on getting more vitamin D. Now the need is the synergists, right? So how do we help vitamin D get absorbed? Okay, so the biggest ones that we see in our practice is this. Not enough vitamin K, and we are looking towards vitamin K2. And if you look at the back of the daily nutritional support, you'll see the exact forms. So, I mean, very simply put, you may want to increase your vitamin K2, not by a lot, but about double the dosage of the vitamin K inside the daily nutritional support. Now, as you know, we put in 100% of your RDA of the vitamins, so everyone always gets 100% of the vitamin K that they need. I don't know your age, but there's a couple factors. As we age, in terms of like strengthening the bones and vitamin D absorption, some people might need a little bit more vitamin K. We don't find that typically in our practice, but here's what we do find, is that you're lacking magnesium. So magnesium is absolutely needed for the absorption of vitamin D. So in my opinion, again, I can't give you medical advice, but I would tell, let's just say, my sister, my mom, my wife, anybody writing in, this is what I would tell them to do. I would do 1 capsule of full spectrum magnesium at lunch, and I would do 2 capsules of full spectrum magnesium at dinner. And what I would also do is, here in sunny Arizona, I would at least get 1 day a week of getting out there and getting a tan if possible. The other thing that's been shown to help get your vitamin D levels up are taking your vitamin D with a fat-soluble meal. So meaning like have it with dinner, take it mid-meal if you want, and have it with other fats. The other part is one more thing I wanted to give you, which was egg yolks. So egg yolks, especially, I mean, you can take your vitamin D right along with the egg yolks. And I don't recommend eating a ton of eggs per week. I don't necessarily move towards that camp, but egg yolks are high in choline. They can help with vitamin D, many things as well. So can be good omegas. So if you had 2 eggs per week, as long as you, of course, are not vegan, then that might be beneficial as well. So that's what I would start. I would actually increase my vitamin K2. I would just keep your vitamin D at the 5,000 or 6,000 IU if you'd like. I would take it with a fat-soluble meal. I would get more natural-based sun, that's for sure. And I would increase my magnesium to at least 330 milligrams per day. You might even want to do a little bit more for a period of time to see if that really moves the needle so that you move to the 50 to 70 range. So hopefully that was helpful. We will, let's see, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. All right. So we're going to keep it at that for today because the goal is to answer many questions each and every weekend, and that's always been my goal. So hopefully this has been helpful. We've got many more coming up. Don't forget, the show never stops. So thank you so much for tuning into these Cabral House Calls. Always love being able to see the questions that come in. It gives me many, many ideas as well for upcoming podcasts as well. And don't forget, tomorrow we start our week off right with our Motivation and Mindset Monday. Thank you so much for being a listener of the show. I appreciate you. I really do. Very, very grateful. And have an amazing start to your week. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests, or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.